Apologies for the late start. It's a busy day, and I'm not going to lie to you, kind of in a bad mood. Partially because of the news. But we're going to get through it because there is a lot to talk about. And there's going to be even more to talk about once we start the full show, in which I will be joined by Francesca Fiorentini. We're going to be doing a top 10 list afterward. But for now, though, I want to jump into things. We will eventually get to our headline story. Please hit the like button if you haven't already, so that people get notifications and know that that's coming up. Well, I don't want to miss. Gopher Ninja, how's it going? 20 months with us. As I'm very thankful to be able to share my time with TDR and my fellow dragons. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all being here. Okay, let's see what's going on with the numbers. First of all, with COVID, hey, cases continuing to go down on average. We're largely in a similar position as we were last week. Overall case counts are something like 5,000 cases less per day. Some portion of that is now being taken up by monkeypox, so that's fun. But deaths holding steady at around the same spot in the 420 to 440 range. And it looks like it's beginning to nudge down. Could this be? Could this be potentially the end of that? Maybe? There'll be more variants. Maybe they'll continue to get more transmissible but less deadly. That would be nice. Okay, for many of you, this might be a number that you're more concerned about, and that is the average gas prices. And so, average U.S. gas prices down 1 cent from yesterday. So, you're going to have a pretty big gas tank for that to matter. But it's been going down 1 to 2 cents each day. From 1 week ago, we're at 14 cents. And now we're reaching, it looks like 62 cents from 1 month ago. Still a good distance to go to get down to, by the way, as Brian is pointing out, your mileage may vary depending on what part of the country you're in. I mean, when I see that it's 421, I think, yeah, but where? Because, of course, hold on, let me bring up California. So our current average is 560. Last week it was 573, 620. So look, even there, from a month ago, it's 60 cents a gallon less here. I don't have a big gas tank, so that only saves me like $3 or something like that. But for someone with a big gas tank, that could save $12 off of a tank. I mean, that's something, I guess. Anyway, we're going to continue to track it. Every bit that it moves in the right direction, that is good news. Okay, I want to give credit to, in this very specific thing, a Republican, moderate GOP rep, who wrote, let's see, it's in Barry Weiss's thing, but anyway, the stuff that he's saying is important. Peter Maher. He's talking about the fact that he voted to certify Joe Biden's election, and yet the Dems are boosting the absolute insane troglodyte that he's running against. So this is something that we've talked about before. They have this moderate GOP rep who seemed to accept, for the most part, the election, and they are boosting the guy, against him, who, in theory, would reject this and probably all elections. Now, they would say, well, this is pragmatic because he has less of a chance of winning or whatever. Yeah, but you are also saying constantly that these people will murder democracy, that will be it. And I think that they're right in that. It's just, there is still a difference. I say it and I mean it. They say it and they don't seem to care. They don't seem to really, it doesn't really bother them that much. I mean, sure, all of these people were literally spending tons of money that could be going to supporting Democratic candidates. I'm not even going to say progressive candidates. They would never do that. But Democratic candidates instead are going into these people. The Democrats are justifying this political jujitsu by making the argument that politics is a tough business. I don't disagree, but that toughness is bound by certain moral limits. Those who participated in the attack on the Capitol, for example, clearly fall outside of those limits. But over the course of the midterms, Democrats seem to have forgotten just where those limits lie. Now imagine, would they be supporting someone who was a known pedophile or a known murderer? No. Why? Because those things are supposed to be across. Implying that it is, though. Get your fucking priorities straight. Get your morals, your value system straight. Fucking hate it. It undercuts their arguments so much. I mean, I guess they're being saved a bit by the fact that most people don't even know that this is going on, but they should know what the fucking Democratic Party is doing. I just want to briefly talk about this because it shouldn't matter, but it does matter. Our headline story is: it has now been 4 months since Trump has been on Fox News, and according to the New York Times, sources close by him, he is not happy about that at all. Now, this follows from last week, news that he's apparently specifically mad at Laura Ingraham. He thinks that she's turning on him. Now, look, you can go too far with this sort of thing because Tucker Carlson just visited him on his golf course. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit. So it's not that nobody at Fox likes him. Sean Hannity still loves him and all that. But it is weird to go 4 months to not cover his rallies, to not cover his speeches, to not cover his golf course event and all that. They would not have skipped this stuff a couple of years ago. They certainly wouldn't have done it in 2016. And I think that they are trying to hedge their bets. They're trying to have it both ways when it comes to Trump and DeSantis. And theoretically someone else, like a Tucker Carlson or something. I think they want to be ready for whichever way it goes. I think that if Ron DeSantis clearly signals that he is not going to be running, that either he's not raising enough money, which so far it looks like he is, or if Trump launches a series of attacks against him that really shake people's confidence, hands go, oh, nice, flying dragon, nice, shake their confidence in him, in his chances of beating Trump, then I think that they will line up. They're not going to want to be left behind on that. But if it goes into a really like all-out brawl, and if it looks like the base is somewhat split between the two, then I could see them more actively going towards Ron DeSantis. And, you know, there's Newsmax and there's OAN, but that has not replaced Fox News. They don't have nearly the viewership at this point. Now, maybe this could be the impetus for that to finally happen. It nearly happened back in 2020, if you recall, because those outlets were more willing to lie about the election than Fox News was. It's going to be interesting to see. This is the sort of thing that's super inside baseball, and it shouldn't matter, but it is still a massive thing on the right. And it does matter which of them becomes the nominee, both for the chances of whether it's Biden or not, the Democrat actually winning. Yeah, and definitely the substance of what they would do. Both very concerning. I think the gap between the two in rhetoric is going to shrink as time goes by. I think that Trump is going to do a lot more attacking of the trans community, LGBTQ plus community more broadly. I think he's going to be trying to steal that from Ron DeSantis. I think he's going to talk a lot about CRT and everything. Anyway, apologies if you're having any sync problems, everyone. That is unfortunately all the time we have for our pre-show. I want to thank you for joining me. But right now, you've got Jared Jackson. He's going live on the watch list, twitch.tv/TYT, youtube.com/watchlist TYT. And then Francesca Fiorentini will be joining me after that. Hope to see you there. Hit the like button on your way out. And I'll see you later.